to immigration matters, the United States has listed 18 Nigerians for deportation, adding to 79 individuals previously identified, bringing the total to 97. The Department of Homeland Security said the arrests followed a coordinated enforcement operation carried out across multiple states by immigration and customs enforcement officers. Authorities explained that the additional names were included under an expanded nationwide program targeting non-citizens convicted of criminal offences. The cases involve allegations such as wire fraud, mail fraud, and identity theft, which it linked to financial and security concerns. Adeniyi Kunnu is an international journalist and policy expert. He joins me now for this conversation. Thank you very much, as always, for obliging us. First, it was 79. Now, an additional 18. How has the United States verified or substantiated these offences to be so sure some of them are not just being victimized?
Well, I'd like you to understand that when it comes to record, the U.S. is actually very meticulous. And I need to emphasize that the Donald Trump administration has actually been able to demonstrate that when it has been by, first of all, cleaning up the entire system as the security system. And why have I said this? I've said it because here on record, he has been able to present infallible figures that shows that they have tidied up the data system of the U.S., even if it is not 100%, it's been able to demonstrate capacity in that regard. Now, let nobody make mistakes about it. The West is characteristic of keeping records. And one thing that it does is to even remind you of the things you've said they probably have forgotten. Let me give you an instance to tell you that 8 out of 10 times, these particular allegations are actually correct, because in New York, about a couple months ago, a Nigerian that actually had a citizenship taken to court and yet to be addressed, had put on his record that he came out of here because he came out of Nigeria to the U.S. years ago because his family members were killed. Now, when he turned 50 or 55, he celebrated, and he wrote a book in which he said he wants to thank his mother who was still in the village. And when those in the Homeland Security actually went through that material, they found out that the record you gave us when you came here from asylum to, of course, permanent residency and citizenship was that you were attacked and your parents were killed. The man is still in detention and they're still looking at this case. So the point is, when it comes to record keeping here, it's almost foolproof. And that in itself is something that I've single-handedly been able to realize, because some of the things that I've done in Nigeria in terms of my media work that at times I've forgotten were pulled up in the course of trying to get into some of the systems. And I was surprised that some of the work I've done like 10, 15 years ago were actually pulled up and showed to me that this is you, we know. So I do not think that those people who are set to be in Nigeria within the next 24, 48 hours are accused wrongly. And it is why we oftentimes recommend that when you come into another country, the best thing you could do is to represent your country rightly. So the U.S. is wrong for that particular decision it has made.
All right. One would have thought that the U.S., considering all we've heard, there's improved diplomatic relationship with Nigeria, would have coordinated with Nigerian authorities to facilitate the deportation process. So what would be an ideal response, in your thinking, from Nigerian authorities to this deportation?
I think that if you're talking about wire fraud, mail fraud, and of course identity theft, it is something that characterizes, many developed countries of the world, and it's not a crime peculiar to Nigeria. But when there are infallible proof presented before your government that shows that the people of your country have committed these crimes, the best way to respond is to perhaps still look into your own book to see if at all such a thing is being motivated by the fact that your country has not made the right provision for these people who have the capacity to understand the dynamics of information communication technology, but have resorted to crimes with it. Then at the same time, anybody who becomes an international fraudster probably has an idea from the home front. So if you have somebody who is studying coding, computer engineering, computer science, and everything related to technology, there is the fact that on the average, such a person understands the dynamics of the internet space and could use it for good or bad. Because every knowledge has the negative side. And there are, of course, ways that people who do noble things can perhaps turn over to start using it for many things that are negative. I have many times advocated that the government should create a lot of coding centers in the country, computer hubs, for people who have capacity to actually do lots of things positively. When those who have capacity are not engaged, and you have to leave them, to their whims and caprices, or the whims and caprices of those that are devious, these are the things we find. So there is nothing Nigeria can do right now to counter what the U.S. has done, because these are facts brought before you, and these people definitely are going to be returned to your country. So I think it's to eat the humble pie and say, okay, what are we able to do with these people? Let me tell you one of the things that I found out. There are lots of things that I've realized here, that the worst of the worst who is very knowledgeable in this country eventually gets employed by the state to help catch criminals. So what is the potential for the people who have been arrested and are to be deported is to first of all realize that they have capacity to do damage as far as the internet space is concerned. So as they're coming back into the country, the government should take them in and first of all look at their capacities. They will serve their time, but government should deploy them to be able to deal with internet fraudster problem in Nigeria, because they have the knowledge of it.
That would be tricky, really, because we are having arguments about repentant terrorists, and then you have people who are deported for crime being... that's a whole lot of conversation for another day. But I'll just give you like 20 seconds, please, to just quickly round off your thoughts on that.
I need to say that when people are in the business of taking lives and destroying people, it's not parallel analysis. The people who kill, the people who destroy, like Fulani militias, Boko Haram, ISIS, and ISWAP, they are killers who take lives. But it is important to understand that what is the use of a killer in a country where government wants to negotiate, but they still kill people? There's no use for such people. Non-state actors like that should be destroyed altogether. But when you are talking about those who are into internet fraudsters, that is actually a problem in the country. And one thing that can be done to deal with it is to actually keep them where you understand the extent they could go and use them as tools to deal with the fraudster.
All right. We'll just have to leave it there. Yeah, we'll have to leave it there for now. Thank you so much for speaking with us. We appreciate your time.
My pleasure. Appreciate it. Thank you. Bye. Bye.